Floyd County officials are trying to connect with the people by making sure they are connected to adequate water. WIT's Buddy Forbes has more about grant money that is being allocated to do just that.
The Floyd County Fiscal Court is pumping some funds to water projects across the county.
We're charting new territory. Always in the past, everyone had that hunker down mentality. The county takes care of the counties, these cities take care of the cities.
$400,000 in grant funding was allocated to the county's 4 water districts this week.
What we're trying to do is foster a relationship and understanding that we're all Floyd Countyans and we have to work together if we're going to move this county forward.
Judge Executive Robbie Williams says the grants, broken into $100,000 between Prestonsburg City Utilities, Martin Water District, Wheelwright Water District, and Southern Water and Sewer District, are an investment in the county and its people.
We have to have infrastructure that can deliver quality drinking water and access to quality drinking water to all of our residents of Floyd County, regardless of where you live.
He says each will go toward respective projects to help improve wastewater treatment, water pressure, water line expansion, and water supply.
We're excited about that. I mean, when we can come in, we can see that we're making positive changes in our community, and we tell these folks we're coming.
But he says it is about more than water. It is about laying the pipes.
The people don't see what we're doing today. It's years down the road before they see the benefit. But that foundation is being laid today.
To get the area flowing toward a better tomorrow. In Floyd County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Williams says the money comes from the county's funds and originated from grant funding the county has applied for in the past. He said it's nice to be in a financial spot where they are able to contribute to the needs of all their water districts. When we get to some breaking news now out of Perry County Dispatch confirms a forest fire or brush fire in the northern part of the county about an hour ago. This video is just in. The fire is near the Wendell Ford Airport. Dispatch said homes in the area were in danger initially, but are now safe. We are not sure if the fire is now under control, but as you saw a little earlier, you could actually see the smoke from that fire on radar. Well, pool owners in Kentucky will need to build barriers or fences around their pools soon. The House committee approved a bill on Tuesday to help keep young children out. House Bill 196 would be known as the Ava Grace Jenkins Law. Ava was a 2-year-old McCracken County girl who died in 2019 after climbing into a neighbor's pool and drowning. Violations would bring fines of $50 to $100 per day. The state could get as much as $10 million in grant funding from the U.S. Department of Transportation for an electric vehicle charging network. The money is part of $5 billion set aside for states during the next 5 years under the new Federal National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Formula Program. The governor says this will ensure the infrastructure is in place that will allow Kentuckians to drive and enjoy electric vehicles.
We want to be the leader in the EV market, and to do so, we've got to build out our ability once we produce the battery, once we get it put in a car, that people can charge it and have reliable networks all over the country. And getting this all over the country is only going to help us in our EV growth, in more jobs, and in more investment.
Governor Beshear says he believes when new electric vehicle battery plants are fully operational in Kentucky, it will be the nation's largest producer of EV batteries. Results are in for the 2022 Impact Kentucky survey, and it shows just how much state educators are being affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This was the first working conditions survey the Kentucky Department of Education administered since the pandemic began. While educators reported favoring staff leadership relationships at 76%, they reported least favorable on emotional well-being and belonging at 48%. 64% said they were concerned about their own emotional well-being.
Many areas still a quiet night weather-wise around the mountains, and in some spots we're watching some high clouds move in, giving us a pretty nice sunset around the mountains in some spots. High knob camera at UVA-wise showing us what we've got. We've got some of those high clouds working through, even some lower clouds kind of backlit by the sun. Beautiful shot there from UVA-wise. You can even see the backside of that sunset from our studio here in Perry County. We've been watching that that forest fire, at least that brush fire, into portions of northern Perry County not far earlier from Wendell Ford Airport. That is the only thing we're watching on Pinpoint Doppler because it's all quiet. Otherwise, around the mountains, you combine those temperatures above average with some of the wind and the low humidity. That's what's causing the potential for those forest fires outside. We're in the mid-30s tonight under mostly clear skies. Winds stay calm around the region, which is good news for the firefighting efforts out there. I'll have the latest on when we could see some showers moving back into the mountains coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. Police are asking for your help in identifying a theft suspect. Take a look at your screen. Police say the woman pictured is suspected of stealing packages off a front porch yesterday. If you can ID the suspect, you're asked to call police. 2 Whitley County men were recently convicted by a federal jury in London on kidnapping charges. 38-year-old Jake Messer and 62-year-old George Oscar Messer were convicted separately. Jake was convicted this morning and George Oscar was convicted on January 13th. A release from the U.S. Attorney's Office said the kidnappings were motivated by a drug transaction. The Messers kidnapped 2 victims and took them to a trailer in Manchester where they held them for around 24 hours. One of the victims claimed to have been repeatedly sexually assaulted. The Messers will face sentencing in May. Kentucky lawmakers are reviewing legislation that would target transgender athletes in grades K through 12. Senate Bill 83 would prevent transgender female students from participating in female sports. Chelsea Jones was in Frankfort, where those who support and oppose the bill expressed their concerns.
And I have made a ton of very nice friends on this team, and we've had a fun time.
12-year-old Fisher Wells loves playing field hockey. She told lawmakers just how much during their Senate committee meeting on education.
Sports is a great way for me to cope with things, it's just a good way for me to cope with things.
That's why she was devastated to learn she initially couldn't play, not because of her skills, but because she's transgender. Lawmakers are considering a bill that would prohibit transgender female students from participating in female sports. It applies to grades K through 12. Republican Senator Robbie Mills, who's sponsoring Senate Bill 83, believes female transgender athletes have an unfair physical advantage.
And it would be crushing for a young lady to train her whole career to have it end up competing against a biological male in the state tournament or state finals.
But Fisher and her parents claim that's not true. They say the 8th grader is no different than her teammates.
And I want to put in here that Fisher is not the best player, and our team loses more than we win.
Democratic lawmakers say the bill is looking for problems that do not exist in Kentucky. They noted there have been no challenges to the Kentucky High School Athletic Association's transgender policy. It requires transgender athletes to undergo sex reassignment surgery to play on a team aligned with their gender identity.
I think fairness dictates, Mr. Chair, that people should be treated the same.
Mills said the bill is about protecting the future of Kentucky sports, a future that could impact Fisher and 8-year-old Cedar Barr.
I really like playing soccer because it is fun to hang out with my friends.
In a 9-3 vote, the bill moved out of committee and now heads to more lawmakers for consideration. In Frankfort, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
The bill will now head to the Senate floor for its first reading. Well, our East Kentucky Sport Boat and RV Show is kicking off tomorrow afternoon, and vendors are already filling the Appalachian Wireless Arena in Pikeville. From RVs to ATVs and a few things in between, giving you a chance to get an up-close look at some of the latest models that could soon be yours. With games, raffles, and more, the arena space, indoors and out, is packed with a little something for everyone this weekend.
It's going to be a good time. You can come out and check all the new RVs, the new side-by-sides. We've got motorcycles, Copperhead Gun and Range is set up. We have a trout tank for the kids to come in. It's free. They can fish. They can have a good time, try to catch a fish. It's basically everything that you want to do when spring hits, and it's right around the corner.
The event kicks off tomorrow afternoon at 4. You can join in on the fun Saturday from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And there's a final chance on Sunday from noon until 5 p.m. A historic building in downtown Corbin is in need of repairs, and officials hope it can become a community center and point of pride for the town. The Carnegie Library was constructed in 1916 as Corbin's first library. In recent years, though, it's fallen into disrepair, as you can see. So Carnegie Center board members got the city's police and fire rivalry heated up for a chili cook-off to raise some money.
It's always fun to put the two departments head to head. There's a lot of camaraderie, a lot of joking, a lot of trash talking.
Cost of entry is $10, all of which goes to restoring the former library, and you can vote on who makes the best chili, police, or fire. First Lady Brittany Bashir is inviting people in the Commonwealth to shop and share this year. This is the most recent part of the 13-year partnership with the Kentucky Coalition Against Domestic Violence and Kroger. The goal of the partnership is to support Kentucky's 15 regional domestic violence shelters. Bashir encouraged folks to shop from a list of items, then drop those items off at the store's collection sites. 46-year-old Trevor Huff, a longtime radio host and musician in Knott County, died yesterday. Many are sharing their stories and memories across social media. WYMT's Dakota Makris takes a look back at his life.
Trevor Huff was a gift. He was a gift to people and to our community.
Trevor Huff, a familiar name in Eastern Kentucky and maybe a voice you heard on the radio.
Trevor was a student of my wife at Knott County Central High School when I was looking for some part-time help at the time, and she recommended him.
And that recommendation turned into a more than 30-year career on the air at WKCB 107.1, The Killer Bee in Knott County.
He liked communicating with the people, but he had an extreme love for music. And he was an outstanding musician. I think it was underrated how talented that he was and gifted.
Sharing these gifts with the entire community around him.
For someone who was so talented, he was extremely humble too. He did not receive compliments well, but he certainly dished them out to a lot of people.
Brian Milam, a familiar face to Eastern Kentucky, became fast friends with Trevor. Brian met Trevor just by listening to the Trev and Bubba show.
I remember one of the first times hearing him, and I thought, well, this guy's got some charisma to him. He's got some personality, because you don't have live radio at 9 o'clock at night in Eastern Kentucky. That's not a ball game.
Once they finally met in person, the two became best friends.
We had a unique relationship in the fact that I love music, but can't play a note of music. And he enjoyed sports, but never was a person who really was an athlete. Somehow, two polar opposites connected.
Trevor became a shoulder for Brian to lean on during a huge transition in his life.
I never had a brother, but he was the closest thing to a brother that I will ever have. And in that month that I stayed with him before I left for Lexington, we laughed until we cried. We cried until we laughed.
And hoping people live a little like Trevor.
He saved my life in ways he would never understand, because he was too humble. He's like, oh no, I didn't do that, I didn't do this. Yeah, he did. He did so many things for so many people.
Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
And we do not know Trevor's cause of death. Visitation for him will be held at Heinemann Funeral Services Chapel Saturday, February 12th from noon until 2 p.m. Trevor was just days away from turning 47, about a year older than me. I've actually known him since college, and my thoughts and prayers go out to all his friends and family tonight. Coming up on Mountain News at 6, several events happening in Pikeville this weekend that you can share with your Valentine, friends, or family. We'll have a preview.
And it's milder air filtering in for now, but Old Man Witter's not going down without a fight. I'll have the details on our latest cold snap on the way next.
WYMT News app